Leave yours home. Let's blink it. Okay. Good morning. Trust everyone's having a great morning thus far. It's now time to call to order the Southern University Special Recognition Committee. And we're going to do a roll call as soon as we get our list.
Ready?
Yes.
Mr. Myron K. Lawson.
Present.
Dr. Ronnie Whitfield. Present. Attorney Tony Clayton. Mr. Sam Gilliam. Attorney Des Moines Rutledge. Attorney Edwin Shorty. Ms. Ann Smith. Dr. Leon Tarver II. Here. Reverend Dr. Samuel Tolbert. Dr. Orlando Williams. We have quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll now go into our invocation and pledge of allegiance, and I'm going to yield to the Vice Chair of the Board, Dr. Ronnie Whitfield.
Good morning, SUNNO. Would now like to introduce Dr. Reverend Crispus Gordon of New Zion Baptist Church in New Orleans, Louisiana, who will be doing our invocation this morning.
Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, the Father of the Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ. Eternal Father, we come at this hour of the morning, another day that you have blessed us to be able to see, recognizing your word, which teaches us that in you we live, move, and have our being. Father, we come giving you praise, glory, and honor that belongs to you as our creator and preserver. Thank you for Jesus, our Redeemer, our Savior. Thank you for the presence and participation of your Holy Spirit. Now, Father, we come as weak and frail creatures of a moment, but as your servants. We recognize, Father, our frailties. We also recognize your strength. Father, as we come at this time, we lift up this grand institution, Southern University, and the board and all the representatives here, and all who will share in this meeting on today. We thank you for what it has meant, not only to this community, but to this world. We thank you for those who have gone on before, who have paved the way, and those who are still here, who are working to do their best to help to uplift all our people. Father, as we gather today, we pray your blessings upon this meeting, that you would crown these deliberations with grace and mercy, that they would serve to do those things that are pleasing in your sight, that even this day when it has been completed, that you would grant traveling grace to all who share today to return to their respective places. Lord, we thank you and we praise you. We ask it all in your Son, Jesus' name, in accordance with your holy and righteous will. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon. Now I'd like to bring
Hold on just a moment. I think your mic's not on. We need somebody to make sure they monitor the mics up here that they're on. Yeah.
We'd now like to bring Trishelle Nelson, one of our shining stars from Southern University, New Orleans, to the podium. She is the Chief Justice of the Student Government Association. She is a member of SUNNO's inaugural nursing program, and she is the president of the nursing class. Could you guys please give a round of applause? Trishelle will be doing our Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
Oh, shit. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trishelle. Congrats on all that you're doing. I'll now turn it back over to Chairman Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. We'll go now directly into special presentations. A swearing in of the new student board member. And I think we have the Honorable Board Member Dana Bailey. And we ask that she come forward to be sworn in. You come in the middle. Want to invite your mom up? Verified his license is current, so it's gonna be very legal. State your name.
Well, first, good morning to everyone, to the honorable board members, chair, vice chair, my chancellor, and faculty staff of, again, the only and the best system, the only HBCU system in the world, well, in the nation rather, and that is the university. I first want to say thank you. This has been a moment that I prayed about 3 years ago, not knowing how it was going to happen, but I knew that God would always order my steps as long as I stayed true to His word, true to myself, and true to the values that I possess. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to the students of the system. You always have me. If you need me, I'm there. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm looking forward to this academic year and looking forward to making a difference.
Congratulations. Look with some big things from Board Member Bailey. We'll go now to item number B, commendation for retired Colonel David Marshall, Army ROTC.
Good morning, Chair
Good
Lawson,
morning.
Vice Chair Whitfield, President Chair, who is now on my left side and not on my right side. I have the honor this morning of recognizing an individual who has devoted many years of dedicated service to our university, our community, and our nation. And at this time, I'd like to call Lieutenant Colonel David Marshall to the podium along with his family. I have a resolution for you, and I'll read it. Lieutenant Colonel David Marshall Jr., retirement from the United States Army. Whereas Lieutenant Colonel David Marshall Jr. began his military career in 1992 by becoming a member of the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps at Clinton High School, Clinton, Louisiana. And whereas Lieutenant Colonel Marshall graduated from Clinton High School in 1996 and continued pursuing his military career at the Southern University and Agricultural and Mechanical College, Reserve Officer Training Corps, the ROTC, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In 2001, Lieutenant Colonel Marshall commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army as an Ordnance Corps officer. And whereas Lieutenant Colonel Marshall has a bachelor's science degree in agricultural sciences from Southern University and A&M College, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and a Master of Arts degree in procurement and acquisition management from Webster University, Webster Groves, Missouri. He has a vast volume of military education, ranging from Ordnance Officer basic course to project development skill identifier in the area of defense support of civil authorities. And whereas Lieutenant Colonel Marshall has service awards, numerous Bronze Star Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, Purple Heart, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, 3 Oak Leaf Clusters, Joint Service Commendation Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, National Defense Service Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Global War on Terrorism, Expeditionary and Service Medals, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Service Ribbon, number 4, NATO Medal, Multinational Force and Observers Medal, numeral 2, and Combat Action Badge. Whereas Lieutenant Colonel Marshall, having served faithfully and honorably, has retired from the United States Army effective June 30th, 2024, with 24 years of service to our nation. He is married to Dr. Renita Marshall, Vice Chancellor for Academics and Associate Dean for the Southern University College of Agriculture, and together they have 2 daughters, Southern University student Sydney Marshall and Zachary High School student Carson Marshall. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Southern University Board of Supervisors, do hereby extend a congratulations to Lieutenant Colonel Marshall on this well-deserved and honorable recognition. His contributions have made a significant impact to Southern University, the community, and the nation. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to the honoree and that a copy of this testimonial be placed in the historical records of the Southern University Board of Supervisors. Signed this 19th day of July, 2024 at New Orleans, Louisiana by the Honorable Myron K. Lawson, Chairman of the Southern University System Board of Supervisors, and President Dennis J. Shields, Southern University System.
Good morning to the chairman of the board,
Good morning.
board members, Mr. President, all distinguished visitors assembled here today. I'm most appreciative of this opportunity and this recognition. I entered the military as a way to pay for my college at Southern University in 1996. My lifelong career goal was just to come back to Southern University and command the Army ROTC battalion. With God's grace, with my wife, Dr. Marshall, my family, and all of my support, mentors, teachers, coaches, I was able to do that full circle. So again, thank you, and God bless all of you.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Colonel Marshall. It's fitting that on both of your sides, I think you have folk that served in the military. Is that correct, Chancellors? Yes. So it's very fitting. That being said, I'm going to yield to the Vice Chair.
I just wanted to comment and say he's a man of very little words, very humble. Also, if you walk up on him, you probably don't want to mess with him. But Lieutenant Colonel, to earn a Purple Heart, we're just very, very proud of you. And I see what you do at the sidelines for those kids. I am challenging him out loud to something that I won't say what we're going to do, but we hope we make it happen for this Bayou Classic. So he and I have a program that we're working on that we hope to share with you guys at the Bayou Classic meeting. So I have just challenged him out loud. I know he's a man of his word, so y'all will see what we will be doing in November. So thank you so much for everything you do for us.
I think we can figure that out. I got it up to the door when you run out the building. Okay, thank you. Okay.
This is extraordinary. Every time you get graduate officer recognition, and almost immediately the way I let them see not to know I didn't know what the choice did not react. I had no time to start doing
Special presentations. I want to yield the floor to Vice Chancellor, Dr. Bree Cook, in the absence of our Chancellor, who is certainly a great leader, because when you can not be able to make a meeting and things go as well, and this trip that we took down here to New Orleans was flawless, literally, means he's selected good people to stand in for him. So we thank Dr. Ammons.
All right, good morning and welcome to Southern University at New Orleans. On behalf of Chancellor Ammons, I'd like to begin our special presentations. I'm going to call up our Vice Chancellor of Advancement, Dr. Kim Rugan.
Good morning, Chairman Lawson,
Good morning.
President Shields, and honorable members of the board, chancellors, and all of our esteemed guests. SUNNO has been very busy this first half of the year trying to generate funds for our programs and our students, with the primary focus on fundraising is identifying resources that will get our students closer to their dream of becoming college graduates. So today I would like, on behalf of the Chancellor, first of all, to extend our appreciation to Councilman Helena Moreno, Eugene Green, and Sheriff Susan Hudson for your continued support for SUNNO. They all have played an intricate part of making sure that these funds have gotten to the university. So the first presentation I would like to make is on behalf of our city councilman, Helena Moreno and Eugene Green. So if you all would just step up to the podium. I'm excited to have these two great partners, especially these two, because every time we call, they come. I made a call to Councilman Helena Moreno back in 2023, explaining to her that we wanted to open up and start our university laboratory school because we want to be the premier decision makers around data to address the crime, the poverty, and education that we're seeing plague in our community. And the only way to cut down on the crime is to look at some of the sources of the crime. And that would be people getting proper education, looking at some of the symptoms and providing solutions. So after talking to Helena Moreno, she told me to apply for a grant through Greater New Orleans Foundation's New Orleans Recreation Fund on behalf of the Center of Urban Research and Education, which we call CURE at SUNNO. Councilman at Large Helena Moreno granted the university $50,000 and Councilman Eugene Green gifted another $25,000 to provide scholarships to our students who will concentrate on the city's crime rate, crime data, and the symptoms of the criminal behavior to produce viable solutions to move our citizens forward to a better quality of life. So I would like to present this check on behalf of our two council members to Dr. Ammons, who is not here, but in the amount of $75,000 from the New Orleans Recreation Fund through Greater New Orleans Foundation. And I also invite them to the podium to speak a few words. And I know you about this donation.
Thank you, Dr. Rugon. Good morning, Mr.
morning.
Chair, and good morning to the rest of the board. I bring greetings from the New Orleans City Council, and what's also great about this morning is that Councilmember Green and I also bring cash. So that's also always an important thing. But I really appreciated the meeting with Dr. Rugon as she came to my office to explain how SUNNO really wanted to partner with the city of New Orleans to find crime prevention measures for our city. And, you know, with that type of partnership, I said, it's like, all we need is to have it funded. And so the city council created a specific fund where we reach out to different organizations and provide substantive funding, not just $1,000 or two, but substantive funding so that we can really get major initiatives underway. So when SUNNO applied to me and to Councilmember Green, it was a no-brainer. So this major contribution of $75,000 I know will go a long way. And thank you once again for the partnership between SUNNO and the city of New Orleans to assist in crime prevention. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to speak quickly. My ties to the university are so important that I just always have to say this. I grew up coming to SUNNO's library. I grew up in Pontchartrain Park. My mother was a librarian here. My father was an administrator, the director of financial aid for a while, and also the director of student services. My sister earned her master's degree at the Millie Charles School of Social Work. And I am so pleased that I represent this district, District D, where I grew up, which is including SUNNO, and also where SUNNO, such a busy institution, has made so many programs available that have worked with the city of New Orleans and for the city of New Orleans. Walking distance from here is the new daycare center. There's a new cybersecurity program. There's a simulator that's here. And I also want to thank SUNNO for the scholarship for young people in our city who are interested in joining our law enforcement community, and also for all the work that is done to host the events where our graduates of the police academy participate. So in addition to the fact that I'm just pleased to be here to bring this check, I just want to say thank you to the entire SUNNO family and the Southern University family for all that you do in our city to make it a better city. And I'm just so pleased to represent this district. And the main reason is because of my connections to this great university and this great community. So it's with great pleasure that we present to you this money today. But it's important to recognize that those funds I know are going to be used correctly, because whatever is done involving SUNNO and Southern is great for our community. So
Thank you very much for all that you do. I'm honored to be here today.
Thank you all so much for that kind consideration. All right. I understand the sheriff may even be here. Is that correct? Sheriff, would you please come and say hello to us?
So without further ado, you already been called to the podium. Dr. Ammons, well, he's not here, but this grant was very timely as we had been moving closer to opening up our laboratory school. Back in November, we presented a check for $140,000, which represented SUNNO's portion of a grant awarded to the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department. It's called the Enhance and Expand the Orleans Parish Reentry Program, meeting identified reentry needs to reduce recidivism in a primarily African-American population. This is a 2-year grant, and the first year, we spent most of the year planning to roll out in year 2. But then we got news that the sheriff wanted to give us some more money.
Isn't that nice?
Yes. So today I would like to present a check on behalf of the sheriff for $156,416 to continue the work that we're doing on creating policies and an action plan to the Reentry Task Force Council. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sheriff.
I'm honored to be here before you all today to be partners with SUNNO. It's not lost on me that I'm sitting in Millie Charles School, and she was a great champion for Black families and children. And this school continues to strengthen Black families and children by building the next leaders. As Dr. Rugon said, we're trying to do something different with people in our custody. I actually want them never to come back. Some sheriffs want to keep staying full, not this sheriff. This sheriff doesn't want them to come back. And we know that we have generational folks in our jail, and we want to put an end to that. And we know that if we do the work and we do it rigorously, we will stop that cycle in these families. But we know we have to have someone watching over us and making sure we're doing it right and evaluating us and making sure we're effective. So I'm so grateful for our partnership. This won't be the last. We're going to keep doing this work together, and I'm honored to be your partner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. That is so nice. Let's give everybody a round of applause again. That's very kind of them to do what they're doing. All right, great. Okay, well, hey, if you have, I tell you what, keep on the mic, you're moving in the right direction. Come with 3 or 4 more. That's wonderful.
I'd like to call our energy partners up to the podium. Through a continued partnership with Energy New Orleans, representatives are here to present a check in the amount of $380,000 and cash incentives to the university through the Energy Smart, Energy New Orleans, Energy Efficient Program. These funds are a result of implementing a series of energy-saving upgrades on our campus. To date, SUNO has received $311,700 in incentives from the Energy Smart Program to complete 6 energy-efficient upgrades that include our HVAC replacement and installing building automation systems and LED lighting. The upgrades were funded entirely with the Energy Smart Program. My check that I get at home is not as good. Just want to let y'all know that. So I would like to call all the energy representatives up.
Thank you for that.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is John Kristofchek. I'm the Commercial Program Manager for the Energy Smart Program. For those that may be unaware, the Energy Smart Program has been around since 2010, developed by our City Council. Since 2010, we've distributed over $61 million worth of financial incentives to residential and commercial customers in Orleans Parish to implement energy-saving projects. Energy Smart did begin to coordinate with SUNO in 2022. During that time, they installed new high-efficiency AC units throughout the campus. And in December, SUNO continued to participate by partnering with a local trade ally contractor, Balthazar Electric, to upgrade the gym lighting to LED. These funds, the Energy Smart funds were able to cover 100% of that project cost. SUNO did not stop there, and in 2023, they partnered with local trade ally contractor Synergy Building Solutions to implement 4 building controls projects. These 4 projects saved SUNO over almost 2 million kilowatt hours worth of electricity, and again, the project cost was covered by the Energy Smart program. I want to mention that SUNO's proactive approach to managing energy use on campus is really a testament to the faculty, staff, and student body. Their hard work and dedication to lead the way in sustainable practices and will continue to be an example for universities throughout the parish as well as the state. So on behalf of the Energy Smart program, we'd formally like to thank all SUNO staff, faculty, and our local trade ally contractors for their hard work. And we'd like to present the Southern University at New Orleans with this check for $311,700.
And they're saying the real check got damaged, so they're gonna bring you your check, okay? Because I know you're gonna be looking for that money.
Wonderful.
Through SUNO's continued work in health disparities titled Expanding Curricular Training and Outreach of Southern University at New Orleans, Biology, Forensic Science, Nursing, Pre-Med, undergraduate students under the COVID-19 Response Health Equity Strategy with the Louisiana Health Department. I'm missing a page. Okay. Here we go. On June 25th, Dr. Kristen Clement received word from the Beisel Group that the university had been awarded $3 million in grant funds from the National Institutes of Health. Historically Black Colleges and Universities Path to Excellence and Innovation, Indefinite Delivery, Indefinite Quantity, the grant program. These funds will be in partnership with Bowie State University under the task area for Public Health Outreach and Communications. This grant will allow the university to expand its work by evaluating COVID-19 and secondary bacterial infections impact and health disparities, race, and educational input versus output versus via pre-existing conditions, risk factors, and health delivery and public health and remedial measures primarily among demographic groups in the greater New Orleans area. I asked Dr. I don't put you on the spot. But Dr. Cook, just to speak on behalf of Dr. Kumar.
Our natural sciences department is doing amazing work securing federal grants in this NIH proposal that was successfully submitted for $3 million is an amazing partnership with Bowie State University and the Bizzle Group. We are just extremely proud of the research. We are not anywhere near right now a R1 university, but when I say they're doing the job, the faculty are really doing their job with being successful in obtaining federal grants. So we're just very, very proud of them.
Wonderful.
If you all would have come on campus last night, you would have passed through the train trestle, the train tracks, and you would see these beautiful murals on both sides. We just want to pay recognition to Senator Joe Bowie, Jimmy Harris, Matt Willard, Candace Newell, Jason Hughes, who gave the university $45,000 to get that mural. We have been being tagged by, y'all know the little taggers that mark up the graffiti. It was an eyesore. We spoke with the Gentilly Neighborhood Development Association, and they were able to gift us with $45,000 to paint those train tracks so that when you enter Night Nation, you see a beautiful mural instead of graffiti. So I'm going to just ask them to speak very briefly about the work.
Okay, I'm going to ask Pastor Aubrey Watson and also Councilmember Eugene Green. It's actually a Gentilly Development District, and we are a state agency. And Councilmember Eugene Green and Pastor Watson, they also serve as commissioners as well. And like Eugene, my friend, Councilmember, I also grew up in Pontchartrain Park. I serve as executive director for Gentilly Development District. SUNNO, I graduated from SUNNO, so it's near and dear to my heart. I watched that underpass, been an eyesore in the neighborhood forever. So any funds, the funds from Gentilly Development District are for beautification, economic development. And we just wanted to do that because we see the wonderfulness that Dr. Rugan and the SUNNO school is doing. And we just wanted to add to the beautification of the neighborhood and to increase awareness in this area as well. So thank you, Dr. Rugan, for being such a great community partner. And we're here to serve if we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Clayton.
Where's Dr. Gunn? My name is Tony. I'm one of your board members. But I'm always excited when we come to New Orleans. But to watch the way you work, to watch the way that the SUNNO family partners with their neighbors, and this is awesome to see. And you're a beacon, young lady, and thank you for what you're doing. And the production that you folks put on when we come here, it lets us know that we have to be committed to SUNNO now, tomorrow, and forever. And Councilman Green, Eugene, you need to be a lawyer. You got some pretty good oratorical skills. Okay.
Thank you. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Great, great. And I concur with Board Member Clayton. We always have an exciting time when we come to SUNNO, and we have some exciting things happening for lunch too. So make sure we stay around because Dr. Rugan helped us make some adjustments yesterday, and we're grateful for that.
All right, so we have one more presentation before the above and beyond. We would actually like to call up Dr. Brenda W. Jackson.
Okay. So we're on item number, I'm going to do a little preface. Now we're moving to item 3D, above and above.
Right
beyond
before
the
that. This is still a special presentation.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying we calling up for that.
Dr. Brenda Wesley Jackson was our first recipient at Southern University of New Orleans for the Brenda W. Jackson Living Legend Award. report, and we have a resolution we'd like to present. Whereas Dr. Brenda W. Jackson is recognized for her unwavering and notable dedication to excellence, ethics, care, and professionalism in higher education, and to the Southern University at New Orleans. And whereas Dr. Jackson, a magna cum laude graduate of SUNNO, holds a master's in education degree from Southern University at Baton Rouge and a PhD in higher education administration and supervision from the University of New Orleans, is a life member and Golden Soror of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and serves as the first vice president of the Alpha Beta Omega chapter. And whereas she has directed, managed, and supervised the programmatic and financial affairs of the Title III programs at SUNNO since its inception. Dr. Jackson is the longest continuous reigning HBCU program administrator of the Title III programs funded by the U.S. Department of Education. Whereas Dr. Jackson is recognized as an outstanding educator, tutor, mentor, role model. She taught business management and office administration courses in SUNNO's evening and weekend college for 20 years. As an active SUNNO alumnus, Dr. Jackson provides annual student scholarships in the name of her deceased parents. And whereas because of her exemplary service, the Living Legend Award will now be named the Dr. Brenda W. Jackson Living Legend Award, cementing her legacy as a true pioneer in higher education. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Southern University Board of Supervisors, do hereby extend to Dr. Brenda W. Jackson on this well-deserved and honorable recognition. Her contributions have made a significant impact to SUNNO and higher education. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to the honoree, and the copy of this testimonial be placed in the historical records of the Southern University Board of Supervisors. Signed this 19th day of July, 2024, at New Orleans. Honorable Myron K. Lawson, Chairman, and President Dennis Shields. Can Dr. Jackson's family come up?
Absolutely.
Good morning and happy Friday.
Good morning.
Honorable the Southern University system board members, President Shields, chancellors, vice chancellors, and to all assembled. I am happy, elated, excited, humbled, and all of those good things. I am extremely pleased and happy and thankful to Dr. James Ammons, who saw fit to bestow upon me this honor. Also, I'm happy that I'm able to smell my roses while I am still living. And I say to God be the glory. And I'm very, very much appreciative. I'm also thankful and want to acknowledge my family for also allowing me the time away from my family gatherings, because I have always put SUNNO first. When you talk about graduation, day before Mother's Day, and my mother was out of town, I always had to have my sisters and brothers cover for me. And that was kind of hard. They were kind of angered, and they tell me all the time, SUNNO, 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 SUNNO forever with you. But it's just in my heart. I bleed blue and gold and pink and green. So again, I say thank you. I'm appreciative and humble. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to God be my glory.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. She sure is a living legend. Yeah, they gave it to her. Wait on the balloons. Just jump in. Thank you. Dr. Whitfield?
Dr. Jackson, I just want you to know that some years ago, the Above and Beyond Award was created by our very own Ann Smith, and it's the reason, the things that you do and inspire us is the reason why we have this award. So thank you. And again, Coach Smith, thank you for coming up with this idea. So congratulations again. Yes, ma'am.
Ready? Okay, thank you. Now we'll go, and that's a good intro to the next item, the Above and Beyond Award. And I was going to commend certainly our distinguished Chair Emeritus, Ann Smith, because this was her idea. She didn't want to stop with just Above and Beyond, the recognition of employees, but she also wanted to include, several months ago, talked about students, actually more than several months ago, last year when I became chair. And I think it couldn't be any more appropriate because that's one of the things that our new colleague, President Board Member Bailey wanted to do as well. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the floor over to President Board Member Bell. I did say Bell. Dana Bailey, and Dr. Cook afterwards.
Again, good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm just so proud and honored to be in this moment, in this space at this exact time. When I spoke with Chairman Lawson after I was elected, we had our first meeting, and I said, hey, as a student, there's so many things that I would love to see, but one thing I really want to see is those students just being honored. You know, everyone will not be an SJ president, a 4.0 student. Some students really, you know, are just doing the best that they can to get through and to graduate. And every student should have the opportunity to be honored. So with that being said, student leadership is one of the highest forms of leadership on campus. But I have learned and witnessed something higher, perseverance. Often, we congratulate the end of a journey, not knowing the road it took to get to that moment. Therefore, I proudly announce inaugural Student Above and Beyond Award. This award will highlight students across the Southern University system for their perseverance, determination, resilience, and commitment to education and the Southern University system. Today, I have the honor of presenting the inaugural award to a Southern University at New Orleans scholar who exemplifies the mission statement of SUNNO and is a perfect example of remaining steadfast against all odds. Miss Brianna J. Mershand. Can you please come up here? Miss Brianna J. Mershand started her academic journey in August 2017 and has remained steadfast in achieving her ultimate goal to receive her degree. Ms. Marchand leads by example, especially on the campus of Study University at New Orleans. Throughout her matriculation, she served on many clubs and organizations such as the Royal Dance Team, the Student Government Association, the Observer newspaper, and the Knight Ambassadors. Becoming the mother to twin future knights in January 2022, Gianna and Rihanna only aided in her motivation to become the first in her family to obtain her degree. As a mother to twin girls, an advocate for social justice, a Knight Ambassador, friend, mentor, and first generation college graduate as of May 2024, I am proud. I am proud, so proud to honor Ms. Brianna J. Marchand with the inaugural Student Above and Beyond Award. And I'm going to ask Dr. Johnson, Dr. Cook, and her family to please come up while we present her this inaugural award.
Guys, excuse me, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. You down bad for this. You
Good morning.
Down bad for this. This was something I wasn't prepared for. I would have definitely had y'all kids with me. But I had some issues. I want to thank everyone for everyone for showing up today. Then I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart because it was a journey. And like Dr. Jackson said, SUNNO is in me. It will forever be in me. It helps me to grow as a woman as I am today, the mother that I am. And I will be back. I ain't going. I'm not going. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up today. Dana, thank you. Dr. Ammons, and everyone else in the SUNNO staff. Thank y'all so much.
Dr. Tarver this morning was talking about how infectious the spirit is around here and the branding and how people really love SUNNO. And it's evident. So I'm so excited that you were so excited, Ms. Marchand. Dr. Cook.
All right, I'd like to call up our Vice Chancellor of Administration and Finance, Ms. Arlene Wheely, and Mr. Delwyn Davis to present the next award.
Good morning, esteemed board members and members and guests. I'm Delwyn Davis, Director of Facility Management here, getting the great honor this morning to present this Above and Beyond Award. In 2016, this young lady joined the SUNNO family as a custodian in the Facility Management Department. Since that time, she has displayed the attributes of the synonymous with the principles of Southern University systems above and beyond. She was promoted to the role of custodian supervisor before being officially promoted to the position in January 2024. She shows up to work early each day and always ready to take on the task, whether it's big or small. Her morning routine consists of meeting with the custodian team to review their assignments daily, and she rolls up her sleeve to help them get the work completed. She does a great job in responding to facility requests that require special setups for events such as the one we have today, taking the lead in selecting the staff to work with her on those events. If something is not completed by the end of the workday of Friday, she showed up Saturday morning to make sure everything is done for Monday. I'd like to present this award to Ms. Ruth Carter, and the only And I also would like to say, the only thing about Ms. Ruth Carter is her height is she's real short and she's working on that also. So to that end, Ms. Carter is exemplified going above and beyond for the SUNNO campus community.
I think Ms. Carter's average height. Some of y'all just talk.
I just want to add just a few words. I won't be too long. I want to thank Ms. Ruth Carter for everything she does. Anything you ask of her, it's always, yes, I can. Never, no, I'm sorry, I can't. That kind of attitude goes so far. We appreciate you and everything you do. Thank you.
That's great.
Good morning, everyone. I want to
morning.
thank everyone that nominated me for Employee of the Year, and I will continue to do my job the best way I can. Thank you again.
All right. There you go, Employee of the Year. That's the way to do it. Small dream is a nightmare. Okay, item number 4. And what we'll do is take some pictures after this committee's over. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Tarver. Any other business needs to come before the Special Recognition Committee? I got to yield to Board Member Smith. I don't know if she wants to say anything, but this is the idea. Humble as usual. Item number 4, any other business? If hearing none, consider this adjourned. Now I'm going to ask that the chair of the Academic Affairs Committee take charge of that committee, Dr. Leon Tarver.
Dr. Leon Harper II, Sam Gilliam, Attorney Tony Clayton, Mrs. Nicole Gaines, Mrs. Van Smith, Dr. Orlando Williams, Mrs. Myron K. Lawson.
Reverend Talbot, all those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye. Ayes have it. No opposed. Now we go to public comments. Item 4, public comments. Are there any public comments at this time on the items of this agenda? Hearing none, we will move on now to action item 5, and that would include, I'd like a motion to include 5A and B as amended.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Clayton, seconded by Dr. Williams. All of those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Let's move on now to item 5C.
Mr. Chairman, of this committee, I recommend that we Passing Global 5C, D, E, F, G, and H.
Moved by Mr. Clayton and seconded by Dr. Williams. To go through items C, B, D, E, F, and G. All those in,
And H.
and H, sorry. All of those in favor, they know sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So have it. We have other business at this time on 6. Hearing none, may we have a motion to adjourn?
All right, we will
Moved
continue.
by Ms. Smith, seconded
Ms.
by
Smith?
Dr. Whitfield. Mr. President, did you have something to add to this?
Some discussion on the, Mr. President, did you have discussion? Something that you want to discuss on the agenda on that?
Well, I'd like to offer Dean Leland Martin an opportunity to at least talk about how he's organizing the administration.
The CSE?
I can't hear you, Mr.
College
President.
and
I'm sorry. I can't hear you.
I'd like to offer Dean Dr. Martin Leland an opportunity for 4 or 5 minutes to talk about his organization of his administration in the College of Sciences and Engineering. It's been approved, but I
Yes, is the person here?
yes.
Oh, there you are. You're wrong. You need to be at the mic, man.
Good morning, Chairman Lawson.
Morning.
President Shields, honorable board members, chancellors, vice chancellors, distinguished guests. Good morning. I would like to just say that this reorganization represents a moment of transformation in the College of Science and Engineering. I've met with the faculty, I've met with alums, I've met with stakeholders from all ilks, and we're all in consensus that we need to move the college forward in a way that reflects an ability to sustainably grow and capitalize on many of the opportunities that we as an HBCU can capitalize on in this era. Our mission is to provide transformative educational experiences for all students. We've done that for 144 years. And the way that looks in 2024 with this landscape, we need to rethink how we do that, and we need to do that in a transformative way. That's already started to happen so that we can achieve our vision, which is to be the model reference point for that type of transformation. And unequivocally, our goal is to become the #1 producer of scientists and engineers among all HBCUs. And this reorganization allows us to do that in a very transparent, organized, efficient, and effective way. We're reorganizing the college so that it focuses on function, the same way this board is organized based on function. So advancement, fiscal affairs, academic affairs, student affairs, research, undergraduate education, graduate education are all addressed as explicit functions under this reorganization. It's cost effective, and the impact will have a rippling effect on all of the further transformations that we're going to request from this board in the future, as this is just a phase 1 reorganization of the college.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Turner. Thank you, Dr. Martin. He has been very, very aggressive in developing his plan, and he should be. We talked about change. He's making some changes that are called for, and I appreciate the board giving him its full consideration as he transformed College of Science. We were the #1 producer of engineers and scientists, and we're going back to that position with you at the helm. So I'm looking forward to the great things that you're doing, and you have my support, and I'm sure my colleagues, to move forward with a sense of urgency. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tarver. Okay. All right, let's move right along. We'll go now to the next committee, which I want to make sure my recollection is correct, is the Facility Committee, and ask that our colleague, Constable, Board Member Shorty, and he's short today without a check because the sheriff brought one, I told him. And he's a constable of New Orleans, so we're waiting, Dr. Rugon. And he accepts your apology for not allowing him, the constable office, to bring a check. Chair Shorty.
The sheriff's budget exceeds mine by about $66 million.
That's all.
The Facilities and Property Committee is called to order. I got enough microphones. Mr. President, roll call, please.
Attorney Edwin Shorty.
Present.
Attorney DeMoy Rutledge. Here. Mr. Paul Matthews. Mrs. Ann Smith. Here. Dr. Leon Carter II. Here. Dr. Ronnie Newfield.
Present.
Mr. Myron K. Lawson.
Present.
We have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved, Dr. Whitfield.
Moved by Dr. Whitfield, seconded by Mr. Rutledge. The agenda is adopted. Any public comments? Are there any public comments germane to the Facilities and Property Committee? Seeing none and having no cards, we will move on to informational items. Informational item 5A, facility update, Mr. Dawson.
Thank you, Facility Chair Shorty, Facility Committee, to Chairman Lawson, President Shields, and this illustrious committee. Just got some updates. We went over some things in the retreat, but I do want to bring a couple of things to the attention. Facility update. We are moving forward with projects, as I stated. You looked at the shovel-ready projects that were presented yesterday, the STEM building, the business building. We have projects at the Sussler campus, projects at the SUNNO campus. But one that wasn't mentioned yesterday is the nursing school that we're building here at the SUNNO campus. That project is moving forward very well. It's being funded by HERF dollars. We expect the construction documents to be started then probably in the next couple of weeks. We're going through our design review and for our DD drawings sometime this week. So that project is going very, very well. I thought I would have opportunity to throw up some renderings of it, but maybe we can do that at the next meeting, but it's going very well. The other thing I want to update you on the other Title III and HERF projects we have on the Baton Rouge campus. I know we've been talking about those projects coming up pretty soon, and that's including the new Welcome Center, the public safety building, the amphitheater, as well as the Harris Hall renovation. That has been held up because we had to find the actual bids came in a little bit over. We had to find additional funding, which we have, but we're waiting for it to go to JLCB at the state before FP&C have the authorization to receive the dollars. So that should happen in August. I think August 9th is the date that the JLCB from the state, that's the joint legislative budget on the committee on the budget. Once they do that, then we'll have the authorization to move forward. Next thing on the item B on the HB 940, we kind of went over that a little bit yesterday, but I wanted to mention very briefly. That is considerable amount of money for deferred maintenance items. I mean, we will be able basically to try to take care of our major deferred maintenance issues because what was submitted totally is going to be 154, probably north of that, 154 to possibly $200 million of deferred maintenance items that we will get funded through HB 940 in a couple of years. This particular fiscal year, we have about $4 million that's already approved in a cooperative endeavor agreement between the university and between the state. We had an additional $15 million that was given that once JLCB meets in August, that money should be made available. I've asked the different campuses to submit those projects. They have. We have submitted them to the state. The state have accepted those for the additional funding. So there will be action that's going to be taken to be very quick. And I'm already meeting with and speaking with the facility managers and the financial managers at the different campuses because there will be some training that will be coming up very soon. Next thing, item C is
Mr. Dawson. Before we go on to item C, I think I wanted to ask a question about something that came up yesterday in the retreat. Kind of along to Mr. Clayton's, some of Mr. Clayton's questions. What process are we using? And we've got buildings that have been turned over to us and there are defects in those buildings. what system do you have in place where you then get with council, or is it the individual campus facilities people that get with council and say we may have a claim against a developer or a builder for defects in those buildings? Because it seemed like we didn't have a clear line of communication when we're saying, okay, FP&C turned over a building and the engineers or the designers of this building or the builders themselves may have some liability to the university. How do we line that up?
Okay. Sure, I think there are two processes. If there is a project that's being handled by the campus themselves, that would be the facility people of the campus, and there may be some issues with a contractor, that I would think would be something they would deal with the legal people on campus about handling that. When you're dealing with the state, it's a completely different thing when you're dealing with FP&C. If there's an issue with the building, we report it to facility planning control. They report it to their attorneys. Case in point, the auditorium here on this campus, a few years ago, the actual acoustic tiles were falling out the ceiling. We had to report that to FP&C. The litigation on that particular situation is being finalized now. So anything that we deal with from a state project standpoint, like the A.O. Williams building and those kind of things, we report it back to FP&C. The FP&C then gets their attorneys involved and we move forward. Ms. Corey can tell you we've been meeting with Ms. Hillary with the state attorney's office, and that process is moving forward with A.O. Williams as well.
And I think that's good to see that we've got something, but I don't know if Mr. Clayton feels this way, but I don't know if Legal Affairs Committee, Chair of the Legal Affairs Committee feels that he may be out of the loop on this. As Chair of Facilities, I feel that I'm out of the loop on when we're going to institute litigation and how we're aggressively trying to make sure that the properties that we've got on campus, that there are people who are liable to us, are being dealt with.
Sure. I could keep you informed what's going on with the state. When the state handle it, it's the state building, so everything goes through the state. It's liable to them. Now, any other small projects is handled by the campuses themselves. I'm not directly involved in, so I can't speak, intelligently toward that, but I can find out. But anything dealing with the state, if there is an issue on a building, we report it to FP&C, Division of Administration. They get their attorneys involved and we go after it. And that very much like the example that I presented, what happened here on this campus.
Mr. Clayton.
I was going to save it till the end, but I'll do it now. We are the keepers of those buildings. And what the young man said yesterday, that was a roof leak, then we should fix it. We have a maintenance department up there, and they are obligated to maintain the buildings that the state has left in their custody. They have a fiduciary duty to do that. Now, I'm going to take it, Mr. Chairman, a point of personal privilege and extrapolate a little bit. Yesterday, the gentleman talked about a sewage pipe collapse, and I think he had $144,000 up there to fix it. When you go to Home Depot and you rent from any rental place a $300 small excavator and you dig a hole, if there's concrete, you chisel it out, you dig the hole. You think you need a plumber to replace 2 feet of collapsed pipe? Then go get a plumber to do it. That has to be done by Southern. I don't know the hierarchy of maintenance or that facility deal. The last person I saw before I went to bed was Chairman Shorty. We disagree on stuff, but we talked. So I met him downstairs and said, "This is my position." And we smiled and we went on. There's a systemic problem that's dealing with the facilities up there at Southern. He could have easily fixed that. He didn't know that the railroad had the servitude over there. Go pick the debris up. Then we go on to the issue about electrical. We could go back and forth, and I agree with the chairman. That's a transmission servitude that no electrical company is going to tell me to get up there with a chainsaw to cut around their wires. And that hadn't been done. And I thought it was just a colossal embarrassment yesterday, what I heard when he said that he has a gym in his place. And I don't know who your chief of staff is. I've seen him before. But why isn't he walking around that campus with guys with gyms in their offices? And then he tells you that people are dying because they eat from the blue store, and he's like a savior. I call him Jesus Jr. I don't know if we need those workers up there if they're dying. We need hospice. So something has to change in terms of the hierarchy of the maintenance up there. You tell me you're pulling 2 trees out of the pond, Reverend Tarver. You got to use a tractor to do it, and they see an alligator and they abandon it. I'm sure the alligator was 2 feet long. But, and I'm not saying that for joke. That's a serious cancer that's happening there. And it's not that folks don't want board members to talk about it or Tony don't say anything about it. Well, I've been on this board for 20-some years altogether. At some point, something has to happen. And so with that in closing, and thanks for allowing me to do this, Chairman Shorty. But in closing, Mr. Dawson, can you tell me who is Ms. Thomas, the person that you answer to when it comes to facilities and maintenance?
No, it's two different IM systems, facility planning. I answer to Mr. McClinton. So anything going on the campus, they normally report to that financial person that's over finances on the campuses. So that person does not go up through my chain.
Well, it's inexcusable, and yes, I'm complaining, and yes, I'm saying it in public, because I get the calls from alumni members from Oakland, California, Houston, Texas, and Dallas complaining about what we're doing. And I hope you, and I'm impressed with you, Mr. Dawson, but I hope you interact with the system or the Baton Rouge campus and y'all come up with a solution, because what I heard yesterday was embarrassing, and it was just a colossal failure on our part to allow that school to do that. And when you talk about, lastly, and I'm gonna bring the ship on in, that the state owns the buildings, we are the custodians of those buildings. And if it has a leak, go fix it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Chairman and Mr. President, I think this kind of highlights the conversations that we've had about governance and organizational flow, that our system facilities person is reporting to a system finance person, and our individual campus facilities folks are reporting to someone different. That doesn't seem to flow well, and I would urge us to take a look at that.
Chairman Shorty?
Yes, Dr.
I'm
Whitfield.
piggybacking on what you're saying, but again, I find it odd that Desiree Trahan has to go look at the trash can and report back to Mr. Pitts. It doesn't make sense at all. And so I've called her about financial issues with not knowing that she's the one responsible for telling me that the grass has not been cut. So we definitely need to look at the organizational chart and figure some flow. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think it's incumbent upon us, Mr. Dawson, we figure out some flow. You and I talked about it this morning, so we've got to find a flow that can help Mr. Pitts be successful, and as well as the campus itself. Thank you.
And look, I think we keep kicking it down the road. I think we should have some recommendations, and I don't think it's that hard to ask for some recommendations on a change in organizational by next meeting. Mr. Gillum?
I think we get,
Mr. Chairman.
I think we get an update every month, but remember, October is the goal we're shooting for the solution, to have the organizational chart in front of us, right? So we will get updates up until that point.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? All right, we can move on to our grant submission award.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of grants I want to mention. There was a grant from the Department of Defense. I got to say that President Shield met with a gentleman that's a graduate from Southern University, from our Army ROTC, that was involved in potential grants that were basically focused on HBCUs. We were able to put a grant together, and we made the submission. I had actually a rendering of how it will look, because what we're doing is the grant had to show that you were doing something that was going to help expand and add to the actual program. It has been said at this meeting, there's been some concern about the reduction in the number of cadets we have going through the program. This was one thing that we felt that would help that. So the way that the design is to connect the two buildings together, the Navy ROTC building and the Army ROTC building, with a facility that even Lieutenant Colonel Marshall, who retired, was involved in those discussions, as well as the other leaders in ROTC on campus. And we have something that was submitted, about 3-4 weeks ago. The goal is that we hope that we're going to see a report on that, or maybe a decision on that in about a month. The grant is about $5 million that's going to build that particular facility. And the second good thing about it, we're putting in additional money to deferred maintenance into the Army ROTC building to repair those particular needs that are required there, as we did with the McNair building, which we have about $1.2 million going into repairs on that building, which will be happening in the next few months.
Question.
Mr. Chairman.
We having to alter some design of the building with architectural assistance.
Yes, in fact, what we did, what was good about this, Mr. Chairman, is that we had an architect that basically volunteered their assistance to initially come up with the initial rendering. What we had to submit to the Army was a rendering of what it was going to look. They basically volunteered their assistance to be able to do that for us.
Here's where I'm headed, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's a travesty to place a brick wall in between a beautiful river. Are there any windows on that side of the building?
No, it's not on the riverside. It's going to be over on the ravine side.
Okay.
Yes, between McNair and between the Army buildings.
So I know what we're doing with the other building, but if we're doing renderings, I always want to look at us being able to appreciate the river, because the other building, we're really not doing anything with it. I know we're doing something, what I want to say. But I just like to see, we're going to alter it, make it where there could be a view of the river.
Yes, sir. I will show the rendering at the next meeting. I had it for this meeting, but we didn't have the ability to project it. But I'll have it for you.
And maybe the ravine, if we turn it to a weir, as everybody's suggested, Tony mentioned, I think, the last meeting.
And one thing about even speaking about that project, what interests the Army about it is that if you looked at what I did on the 3D renderings that I submitted a few meetings ago, if you look at the property behind where that's going to be, it'll allow the Army and the Navy to do more of their exercises even behind the structure that we're doing, which is predominantly glass. So it's going to give you visibility, plus the way that project is going is going to give them more property to be able to do the kind of things they needed for a successful program.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, let's hear about the FHWA Recreational Trails Program.
Yes. This is an award. This was done through Dr. Eleanor Collins with the Southern University Law Center that submitted this grant. It's a $200,000 award. Basically allows us to do a trail along an area that's kind of close to where the new ravine project is going to be done. So it just gives more walking space, more trail space at the Southern University campus. I had a rendering to show you that location as well. We are working with the Army Corps of Engineers because we have to make a few changes there for the location of the trail. But it's just good news that at least that submission was made and we got a $200,000 award.
Congratulations. All right. Anything else, Mr. Dawson?
That's it, sir.
Any other business? Any other business for the Facilities and Property Committee? Moved adjournment by Mr. Rutledge, second by Dr. Tarver. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll go directly to our Finance Committee. Nice to further loose change. The Honorable Dr. Arlinda Williams take charge of the committee. Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Roll call, please. Present.
Dr. Orlando Williams.
Present.
Mrs. Ann Smith. Mr. Sam Gilliam. Mrs. Christy Reeves. Attorney Des Moines Reeves. I'm sorry. It took me 2 years to learn how to say your first name, and then I gave you Attorney Des Moines Rutledge, Dr. Leon Tarver, Mr. Myron K. Lawson.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. There's a motion by Mr. Rutledge to adopt the agenda, second by Ms. Smith. Seeing no opposition. Item 4, public comments. I have no speaker cards or anything. Item 5, informational items. Your interim financial report was attached to your packet. Is there any other business to come before this committee? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Reeves, second by Ms. Smith. All those in favor, we stand adjourned.
All righty.
Blaze the saddles.
We'll go directly into the Legal Affairs Committee. I don't see the chair of that committee. I'll ask the vice chair to take charge of that committee.
Sure.
Until he returns, Mr. Des Moines Rutledge.
I will not release the mic. We'll call the Legal Affairs Committee to order. Mr. President, our roll call. Attorney Tony Clayton, Attorney Des Moines Rutledge, Miss Dana Bailey, Mrs. Maple Gaines, Mrs. Christy Reeves, Attorney Edwin Shorty, Mr. Myron K. Lawson.
Certainly.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda. It's been moved by Mr. Shorty. Is there a second? It's been properly second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, and seeing the chairman, I will relinquish the mic. All right. I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of action items 5A, 1, 2, and 3, and B. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it, and those items stand adopted. Is there any other business? Hearing, it's been moved by Mr. Shorty, and we stand adjourned.
It was.
I tell you what.
Thank you, Des Moines.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
A lot of congeniality taking place in that committee.
Des Moines Reeves. Des Moines Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Who knew? I mean, we do have ways we pronounce things. Richard is Richards in an hour.
49 cents. 49 cents.
Richard, Richard. He's been spelling A-bear, A-B-E-A-R until about a week ago, so we're working on it. We'll go directly into the Personnel Affairs Committee. Next, the chair take charge of that committee, Mr. Sam Gilliam.
I'll take it.
Okay. Well,
That'll be me.
Vice Chair, and I think that's Christy Reeves, Board Member Reeves.
I'll call the
call us.
Personnel Affairs Committee.
Attorney Tony Clayton. Second. Dr. Orlando Williams, Myron K. Lawson.
Present. A second.
Okay, we have a motion. Okay. I'll move in second. All in favor? Cards. We do have one. You.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, I should say good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Fred Moss, and I'm the current Faculty Senate President here at Southern University Shreveport. And my reason for standing here is because my term is up, and this is going to be my last board meeting as Faculty Senate President. And I just want to give thanks to this board. Okay, we did a lot of things here at Southern University during my leadership as Faculty Senate President. I'm not going to keep you long. I would like to thank the Southern University Board. Technology, y'all. Hold on. Bear with me. Get out of there. All right. Okay, here we go. I would like to thank the SU Board of Supervisors for all that you have done for the Suzzler campus under my leadership. We made it through COVID together. We also held the 47th Annual Bayou Classic in Shreveport, which was a milestone that put a big spotlight on Shreveport and all that we have to offer. We received 4 raises, with one being 100% of the SREB. This couldn't be done without the hard work of my faculty senate and, of course, the great Board of Supervisors. I would also like to thank Dr. Penning for his leadership while we were in search of a new chancellor. I would also like to thank President Shields for trusting in me to lead the search committee for our new chancellor, Dr. Gant. I thank you once again, Southern University Board of Supervisors, for all that you've done for Suzzler and the system. I would also like to introduce you to our new Faculty Senate President,
Ms. Daphne Tebow.
Thank you to the Board of Supervisors. Thank you to Chairman Lawson. I am honored and humbled to serve as the next Faculty Senate President of Southern University at Shreveport, as I realize that it takes all of us working together to bring sustainability to our institution, to support our administration, faculty, and staff so that we can synergize, we can move forward as we empower and educate and encourage our students. So again, I thank you for this opportunity to serve. I thank you for the opportunity to stand before you. And I thank you to President Moss. Thank you to Dr. Gant. I'm honored, deeply honored. Thank you again.
And lastly, on this agenda item, we have here for the hiring of Sherilyn Hall for VC for Academic Affairs and Workforce Development. I just want to say, as Faculty Senate President and my Faculty Senate, we are in support of this hire for Dr. Sherilyn Hall for VC Academic Affairs of Workforce Development. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Yes. Our chair is back. I've turned it over to him.
Mr. Chairman Dillon.
I would remind my friends across the state, it is indeed a serious thing when you make a commitment to drive 5 to 6 hours to come before this group. And we thank you for making that kind of commitment, Ms. Tebow. And congratulations, by the way, Ms. Tebow, on your recent election to President of the Faculty Senate. Do we have additional comments coming to us?
Mr. Chairman, in conjunction with a conversation I had with our Faculty Senate President last night, Mr. Oswald, and the new Dean of Science, he told me that I better support all of these issues coming up. So I so moved to pass items 5A, B, C, D, and global.
I have a motion from Mr. Clayton, a second from Ms. Reeves, that we would approve items 5A, B, C, and D.
I just have a question.
Is there a comment from a board member? Ms.
Just a comment about the Englobo. There's been discussion, I know, regarding SUSLA. I'm not in opposition. I just would like opportunity to have discussion, whatever the process would allow us to do that.
Okay. Please make sure that Ms. Zeldela's comments are so noted. Is there further comment? I have a motion on the floor, I do believe. Okay, those in favor? Did you care to further articulate, Ms. Dudley?
I would
Further discussion?
go with a motion to do Englobo up to for everything except D. And it's just conversation. It's just whatever the point of order to do that, because I just have a question.
What are my options, councilors?
Just discuss it. She wanted to discuss it. So I'll respectfully request that we move forward with the motion and then take it back.
I appreciate it.
Allow her to have a discussion on C.
That's as I appreciate it, and that's where, as I appreciate it, this chair has it. It's up for discussion, but I have a live motion on the table. Okay, it's being discussed. Good. Is there further discussion? If not, I have a motion on the table.
I think she has discussion, is what she's suggesting. So what if she could discuss now, I think, is that correct, Mr. Chair?
Okay, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Moss for his leadership and his role on the campus and the transition as well. So those things are good. And Dr. Gant, thank you for everything that you've been doing. But I know these are changing and aggressive times at the campus across the system. There was a lot of discussion about this particular hire on the campus that I am aware of. I'm not in opposition. I want to be clear to that, but I do want to give opportunity to discuss it says search, and you and I have had some discussion regarding this. But is it an appointment or a search? And can you give some background information to elaborate on that?
Thank you, Ms. Dudley. Yes, the information that's on the agenda is correct. It was a search. We moved through the regular process of a search, and we found a candidate to fill the role. When I say we moved through the regular process, as we looked through the applicants, I was presented 3 applicants, and those individuals, after checking references and doing some background, they were not all best fit for the position. So I was given another application from Human Resources. That person actually was the best person for the position. So therefore, I did background checks. I talked to current, former employers, and we brought that individual before the committee. The committee approved the candidate. We also allowed additional faculty to meet the candidate, ask questions of the candidate. They supported the recommendation, and so that is the individual that we brought before this board, also with the support of Faculty Senate at Southern University Shreveport.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Dudley? Is that in? Okay. Yes, I appreciate it. I still have a motion on the table.
Question's been called.
Question?
He called a question.
Time to vote. Yes, I appreciate it. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposers, nays? Hearing none, these motions for these action items are thus approved. Moving on then to item number 6, other business. Is there any other business to be brought before the Personnel Committee? Hearing none others, we move to item number 7, adjournment. What is your pleasure?
Can somebody tell me the update on the Dean of Education, the replacement for interim or whatever for Dr. Virginis Peoples?
Good morning.
Good morning, Chancellor.
Morning. I'm just trying to make sure this mic is working.
It works for about 15 seconds.
Okay.
And then it just automatically goes off.
All right, this might be working. Okay. So we are working through the process of trying to restructure what we're doing in the School of Education. In the academic affairs, you saw how we're restructuring the program for leadership. And so we're going through that process of figuring out how we need to do this going forward. We're actually waiting on a report that we're getting from Dr. Michelle Clayton. And I suspect that within the next couple of months, we will have a plan of how we're moving forward.
Let's put that on the agenda too, because I'm very, very interested in our colleges of education and where we're headed with it. Anything else on your committee?
The only next item is item number 7, adjournment.
Okay.
That's been moved
Thank you.
and second that we would consider the Personnel Committee.
It's now time to call the Southern University Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Through shared governance, leadership, and a diverse system of unique institutions, the mission of the Southern University and A&M College system is to deliver affordable, world-class education, a trained workforce, state-of-the-art research, creative scholarship, and transformational public service to the state of Louisiana, the nation, and the world. That being said, roll call, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Myron K. Lawson.
Present.
Dr. Ronnie Whitfield.
Present.
Miss Dana Bailey. Attorney Tony Clayton. Miss Zazelle Dudley. Mr. Raymond Fondell Jr. Mrs. Maple Gaines. Mr. Sam Gilliam. Mr. Paul Matthews. Mrs. Christy Reeves. Attorney Des Moines Rutledge. Attorney Edwin Shorty, Mrs. Ann A. Smith, Dr. Leon R. Tarver II, Reverend Dr. Samuel Tolbert, Dr. Orlando Williams. We have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Item number 3, adoption of the agenda. Are there any modifications to the agenda printed? Seeing no one come forward with any adoption modifications, is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Got a motion by Board Member Rutledge, properly second by Board Member Whitfield. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 4, public comments on the printed and adopted agenda. Seeing no one approach the podium, we'll go to item number 5, resolutions. Mr. Secretary, President.
Thank you, Chairman Lawson. This morning we'll have 5 condolences and 4 commendations. Preston George Gray, a double major. He earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in marketing and a Bachelor's of Science degree in computer information systems from Grambling State University in 2002. Mr. Gray was a network and video administrator and athletics clock management operator at Southern University and A&M College. He continued to be a standout employee who will be remembered for his smile, his love of sports, and willingness to assist others. He had passed away on June 27th, 2024. Mr. Charles Lloyd Jr. was a native of Toledo, Ohio. Mr. Lloyd was a professor and music program director at Southern University and A&M College, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Additionally, he served as director of the Southern University Concert Choir. He will be missed by all those who knew and worked with him. He passed away on Saturday, June 22nd, 2024. Mr. Roderick C. White Sr. was an alumnus of the Southern University Laboratory School and the Southern University A&M College. He obtained his Master's of Business Administration from Wayne State University and his Juris Doctorate from Wayne State University Law Center. Mr. White was known for his time spent as an adjunct professor of law, associate professor of law, and vice chancellor for student affairs and academic affairs at Southern University Law Center. He had a tremendous impact on his students, both as a legal scholar and a mentor. Mr. White was pastor of Jesus Christ in Lord Ministries. He passed away on July 2nd, 2024. Mr. John Kennedy III was a 1980 graduate of Southern University, Baton Rouge. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. He passed away on June 28th, 2024. Mrs. Tessie Prevost Williams, a member of the New Orleans Four, is to lay in state at Gallier Hall. She was one of America's little soldier girls. She passed away on July 6, 2024. Commendations include Dr. Brenda W. Jackson is recognized for her unwavering and notable dedication to excellence, ethics, care, and professionalism in higher education and to Southern University at New Orleans. Because of her exemplary service, the Living Legend Award will now be named the Dr. Brenda W. Jackson Living Legend Award, cementing her legacy as a true pioneer in higher education. Congratulations to Dr. Brenda W. Jackson. Lieutenant Colonel David Marshall Jr. began his military career in 1992. Lieutenant Colonel Marshall, having served faithfully and honorably, has retired from the United States Army effective June 30th, 2024, with 24 years of service to our nation. We extend our congratulations to Lieutenant Colonel Marshall on his well-deserved and honorable recognition. The Harrison family held their annual family reunion July 5th through 7th, 2024. This reunion served not only as a time to celebrate family heritage and unity, but was also an occasion to honor the contributions of family members who have benefited and contributed to Southern University. The Theus family will be holding their annual family reunion in Dallas, Texas, July 26 through 28, 2024. The Theus family descendants include Southern University founder Dr. Joseph S. Clark, former President Dr. Felton G. Clark, and Dr. Jesse N. Stone. Judge Shonda Stone, and NBA legend Reggie Theus. The Theus family will be recognizing and honoring Southern University and Southern University Lawson alumnus Judge Shonda Stone at the family reunion. Judge Stone is the daughter of the late Dr. Jesse N. and Miss Willow Dean Stone, is the great-granddaughter of Mac Theus Sr. and second cousins to Dr. J.S. Clark and Dr. Felton G. Clark. This concludes our condolences and accommodations, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Vital. You've heard the resolutions read by Dr. Vital. You have a motion made by Board Member Rutledge, properly seconded by Board Member Reeves. Discussions on the resolution. Hearing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? I'm sorry, you have a question? Oh, yeah, thank you for that. Absolutely.
McNeeds, you all right over there? Every day I'm hustling, huh? Tony, you know his theme song is Every Day I'm Hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Drake. All right, make sure we reflect the addition that Dr. Williams added. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, sir.
What Professor and Pastor Roderick White meant to my class. I'm a 2002 graduate of the Law Center, and to a man and woman, we all felt touched by him in that first year of law school. As those who've been through it know, is terrifying and intimidating. And he was always a voice of reason and calm and inviting, and always had an open door policy. And he will be sorely missed. And just as just to get an understanding of what kind of guy he was, one of my classmates asked him to perform their wedding service. So in our first year of law school, he meant so much that somebody said, I gotta have this guy preach my service. And that tells you what kind of impact he had on us, that we all just wanted to be in his presence. So he will be sorely missed, and he had a tremendous impact on my class, and he was a mentor and a friend.
Thank you for that. Dr. Whitfield.
And my sentiments exactly. I'm looking at my text messages, and my last text message came from Roderick, and he was commenting on one of the board meetings. And I've spoken to Chancellor Pierre about this, and maybe we could consider doing this, not trying to force anything, but we had talked about potentially him being Chairman Emeritus for Academic and Student, Vice Chairman Emeritus for Academic and Student Affairs at the Law Center. So I don't know if that's something we could consider, maybe in some discussion. But again, he meant a lot to me. We grew up in Park Vista, right around the corner from each other. Roderick's a little older than me, but my family knew him well. So it's just something I thought we might consider, but just want to bring that to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Whitfield. I think we passed the motion. Is that correct? Yes. So we'll go now to item number 6, action items.
Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of action item 6A, B, C, and D.
So moved.
You have a motion, properly second by Board Member Whitfield. Question.
Item C, before we pass it, what property are we, and I didn't read this, but what property are we transferring to the foundation?
Dr. Harrell. Mr. Harrell. Sorry. Okay.
The property is located next to the Vaudry Center on Harding Boulevard. It's the old Washateria property.
It's to the left.
To the left of the bookstore, Collegiate Bookstore. Yeah, so I explained yesterday that the EDA grant that we received back in 2011 asked and requested for the property to be transferred to the foundation to complete the renovations on the incubator. We did not discover that the property had not been transferred until we went to seek clear title to do improvements on that property after the $1 million gift that Mr. Matthews gave to the foundation to expand programming at that center.
$1 million that Mr. Matthews has given or is about to give us is directly tied to the foundation owning that property?
It's tied to the foundation building a new building to expand programming. We are currently at 100% occupancy. So Mr. Matthews gave the gift, the cash gift, 2 years ago to get that done.
And I'm still perplexed as to why don't y'all buy it from us?
We are. We are.
Yeah. So it's not a transfer. I'm not, and I said I didn't read it. So you are
Yeah,
buying
I think it's in the documentation that was presented.
It's my bad. I stand
It's a
corrected.
purchase.
I didn't read it. I support it.
Okay. Well, it's good that it's out there what's happening, which is a good thing.
Yes.
We're expanding a program that's in dire needs of a space, right? And
Yes.
so we have a guy that's been very philanthropic to the university that's taken on that initiative, and that's a good way to grow. So I'm glad we got it out there so folk know what's
Thank
going
you.
on. Any other questions? Motion been made, properly second. Any other discussion? Hear none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Number 7, let me say, before we get swift on item number 8, thank you, SUNNO. Thank you, SUNNO. We have had a phenomenal weekend from the time we came into New Orleans, and I know we're going to experience another phenomenal meal here in a little bit. But thank you, SUNNO, for what you've done and for the pride that you have placed in other folks at the system. And we look forward to seeing everyone next meeting. Mr. President, congratulations. You are over 2 years now. Very ambitious schedule. So let's give him a round of applause for that. I told the board yesterday when he came here, he had an afro and it was completely black.
Mr. Chairman.
Times will change.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you and everybody that worked so hard to put together the retreat. There's a lot of information. I just wish we could maybe squirrel away some more time, maybe a day and a half, maybe like start. And I know people have other obligations, but we sort of get restless when when it gets close to 5. But a lot of information, and would love to see us do more, have more of that kind of engagement. But would like to request that you consider maybe a day and a half, maybe starting like on a noon Wednesday and going through Wednesday and Thursday. And maybe we can include a little bit more information and not have to do it in such a compressed period of time.
But
I know
we'll
a lot
take
of
it.
work went into it, and I want to thank you and every staff and whomever contributed to its development. Great accommodations, and we expect that going forward, okay?
Yes, sir. Let's give the folk that helped with this a round of applause. I'm going to recognize. I saw Mr. Clayton, then we're going to go on this side. I think, right? Thank you so much. That's the way it's going to go.
Well, 12, you guys are the best. So
Dr. Bree Cook. We have now board member Ed Smith, board member Raymond Fondial. Okay.
Thank you so much. Not quite. I have one final special thing that I'd like to share with the board, chair, members, board members, to the president and the staff, and to the general Southern University system. On last meeting, we had the students that attended the Africa trip. And out of that trip, many good things came out of it. One was an anonymous donation that was awarded to the School of Business for, in regards to the students. And they said that we could do anything that we wanted to do with that, those funds. They awarded, an anonymous donation was awarded $10,000 to the School of Business for the students in which, whatever they wanted to do. So when asked what the students wanted to do, they said that they would like to in turn set up a scholarship or to help other students from the School of Business, to help them make the trip or do what they would like to do in regards to benefits toward the Ghana trip. So I would like to say thank you for the anonymous donations. I've had a couple of other people that attended the trips that were community people who called and said they would like to also give donations toward the African activities, the Africa activities that will probably be done in the future. So again, I wanted to share that with you because it was a really outward thing for our students, and many other benefits came out of that. And I'm not going to share those with you. You'll see them as they unfold. But again, thank you. And thank you for giving the students such courage to come and do what they did in sharing their trip with you. They were impressed, and I mean, they were elated about the trip. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Smith. Item number 8, adjournment. Needs no second.
All kind of records under
That's the way we